G'day, guys. Didn't see you there. All right. Time to answer some questions from some MoneyCat fans. I think these ones are going to be about savings. So, question 1. Why do I need a budget? And at what age should I get a budget? Well, you need a budget so you don't run out of money, basically. If you don't have a budget, then how do you know what you're spending money on, how much money you have, how much money you'll need? A budget doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be little and just give you an idea of how much cash you can play with per month. Next question. How much should I save each week? That's a really good question. So the benchmark, or like the ballpark number that I've always used, is you should save 10% of your net income each time you get paid. So that's not 10% of your income after you buy all your cocaine. That's 10% of your income as soon as it goes in the account. Now there's a few exceptions to that. Like for instance, if you've got high credit card debt and you want to pay it off, you should pay that down first. But overall, you should save at least 10% of your income each time you get paid. When I say save, that means it goes in an account that you never touch. Never. Next question. Should I pay off debt rather than save? If I extracted what? My car... yeah. That was a terribly written question. Should I pay off my debt rather than save? Why not just use credit cards instead of having savings? Okay, that's a pretty good question. That's actually 2 questions, so let's split it into one. Should I pay off my debt first rather than save? Well, the short answer to that is it depends on how expensive your debt is and how much debt you have. So the way I look at it when you're saving is there's like different tiers of savings. So the first tier, like the bedrock, the most important one, is you save up and get like an emergency fund of like $5,000. So if your car explodes or your oven explodes or someone dies or you can't work for some reason and you don't have insurance, you've got that cash to get you by. So in some situations, if you've got like really expensive debt, like you got like 30 grand's worth of credit card debt, you should definitely pay that down first because that's just killing you. But overall, your number one goal when you save should be to set up an emergency fund, because then once you've got that, you can start doing other things afterwards. Because the next question is, why not just use my credit card instead of saving? Well, there's an easy answer to that. One is credit cards charge about 20% interest per year. So if you had a $10,000 credit card debt, that means you're charged $2,000 a year interest. So I'd rather just use cash. The second thing is sometimes an expense might pop up where you need cash and you can't use a credit card, so it's more flexible. The third thing is maybe you don't want to have a credit card and it's easier just to have a pile of cash. All right, next question. Where should I put my savings? Good question. You should put them in a bank account separate to your main account. And if you're a bit naughty, you should put them in a different bank where it's not easy to access the money. You don't want to be out 2 a.m., cooked in the club, and decide to order a $500 bottle of champagne and just transfer some savings across for it. These savings, like your emergency fund, should be partitioned away enough that it's kind of difficult to get to. Different bank account, maybe it doesn't have instant transfer, maybe you don't carry the debit card for it. So yeah, you should put them in a separate account that you never touch. Should I pay off my car loan faster? It's a good question. There's a couple of things with that. One is it depends on how you set your car loan up. So a lot of car finance companies do what's called a fixed interest rate, where they go, this car loan is going to be 6% for 5 years. And that means it's fixed every single time. So you actually can't pay it back faster. If that's the case, then you should just tick away with it. But if you've just got like a personal loan and you're paying it off, yeah, you should reduce your debt on that faster because you save interest and you have more cash. Next question. Should I save physical cash in my house? No. Basically, like, unless you're like an old Greek man, there's no reason to have a big pile of physical cash in your house. Here's why. Firstly, let's say you decide not to put your money in your bank account and you just save it under your mattress. What happens if someone breaks in your house and steals it? You've lost all your cash. What happens if your house catches fire? You've lost all your cash. What happens if you're drunk and you really want to buy a whole bunch of food with cash? You go and use your cash. Realistically, in the modern world, in developed countries, there's basically no chance of a bank transactional bank that holds deposits for customers going bankrupt, particularly in Australia and the US. So you're at no risk of having your cash in a bank account. So don't keep it under your mattress, that's silly. How do I go from saving money to investing money? It's a good question. So basically what you should do is set yourself a little goal of, let's say, I want to have a $5,000 cash buffer in case of emergencies. Then after that, I'm going to start saving money to build up some wealth and invest it. That's what I'd do. I'd try to get to $5,000, and then once I got to $5,000, I'd be like, all right, the rest of this money I'm going to put away and try to make money off. Then you start looking into how long you want to invest the money for and why. Saving is hard. How do I make more money instead of saving? You could start a side hustle. You could get a promotion. You could spend less money. Or you could pay down your debt so you have more cash to spend. What is the best book you've read for saving? All right. The two books I read, when I was probably a 12 or 13, was The Richest Man in Babylon, which sounds like a weird sex cult, but it's mainly not. It's a really good book on basic saving. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which it turned out the guy who wrote it was sort of a scammer, but the lessons in the book were actually pretty valid.